Hello everyone, here we go again, another add-on, this time CEB Easymocap 1.02. This update makes it even more simpler to calibrate the data and to generate animation from multiple camera recording. So let's start. First, let me get this to the side so we can open the console panel to watch what is happening behind the scenes, and let's install it. Okay, you can open the N panel. Let me remove this cube. Here you have the add-on, the Easymocap add-on. You can see that it is red because you need to create a virtual environment. So let's do this. And then you can press create VF and install all the Python requirements. It takes a while. And here you see that it's done. You can close it now. You see if there is any error that shows on the installation process. Save it and send to me so I can help you with it. But you can close now. You have one last button to press, that's the installation of the Easymocap package, because if you are going to use that on another place and you want to obviously reuse the virtual environment, you will need to install it every time. So to be faster, I made it in a different button. So let's press it. You see it's done. And now we can go to the other parts. To use this add-on, not only you need the virtual environment, but you also need some other files from this place, SMPLX. And to use it, you must have a login. You have to create, if you don't have one, you need to register and use your password. You must agree to the terms that you're not going to use out of these conditions, and after you register it, you will use the login data inside here. This having the login data in press download, it will download and install every file that is needed for it to work. But I'll leave it here to show later what happens if you don't have this data ready. So let's go to the installation part. To do this, you have to create a project, and the important part is that you set up the number of cameras from your project. It will be used to make available all the files, and the resolution, the FPS, it's just for information purpose. It doesn't matter on the add-on itself. And you can use a custom name. For example, this I'm gonna use as sample. And you have a project ready to use, and this project will save the intrinsic and the extrinsic data, so you can reuse it on other recordings that you have with that same calibration data. You don't have to calibrate everything every time. At least the intrinsics, you only have to do it once for the set of cameras that you are going to use with that same resolution, That's why it's important, this number, the resolution here. So if you record several videos in different days, you can use the same intrinsic data. The extrinsic data you must set up every time you set the cameras again. For example, if you put the cameras in one place at your living room, for example, and record the you do the recording, you have to do the extrinsic calibration. If on another day you have to set up again the cameras, you have to do the extrinsic calibration again. The intrinsic, you just need to do it again if you change the resolution or you move to another camera. So let's go. Now you have to set up the path to do the project. So every file that you're going to use will be inside this folder. Oh, you can't use path with space. If you have a space in the path, it's gonna give an error, for example, because you will have a problem, so I had to put that constraint. You can't have spaces on the name. You can put underline, that's no problem, but space, no way. Now we are going to do the intrinsic calibration. As on the configuration, you have two cameras, so you have two options here. And let's do them. You set up the video for the intrinsic calibration. I have a set of files here, and for the camera 1 I have this file, and for the camera 2 I have this other one. So if you want to save the intrinsic calibration on the project folder, you can press the save video. It's not necessary, but you can do that. You just have to save the video on the last part. Let's move. You can open this window pressing 3D2 VSA. It's important because you need to select the frames, the important frames to you. And let's go to the camera 1. On this part, when you press prev cam or next cam, it will automatically move to another camera and load it here. So it's on camera 1, you can press load, it will be the same video. And what we have to do now, we have to, I like to press home to show the full length of the video. Now we have to select the important parts to render. So it will be the frames that will be used as reference for the intrinsic calibration. What I noticed is the best places to use the frames for the calibration are the part around the video, around the image. For example, the top left and all this part on top, the corner, all the corners of the image. So that's what I will try to use as reference. You press M to select the frame, and you keep scrolling until you find nice places, and keep pressing M to select those frames. After selecting the amount of frames that you find interesting, you press render frames, and it is going to export them to a folder. After it finished, you go to the next camera. And now you can render them. Okay, if you are using the same type of chessboard that I'm using here, you don't need to change. By default, it's using this configuration, which is the 3 intersections by 5 intersections. You can see here 1, 2, 3 intersections by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 intersections. If you use a different chessboard, you have to take it into account. to proper use it. And this other value here is the size of a square on the chessboard. It's in meters, so in this case it's 4 centimeters, I guess. And you enter here, and let's go to the other parts. You have to detect the chessboard. After that, you press calibrate. And the save button, it's the button that it's going to save on the project folder. Project. And you can see the project folder clicking on this part here and open calibration folder. Here you see it. You see that it's empty. Let me hide it. And after I press, you will have the intrinsic calibration saved over here. So you can reuse it when you're making another animation. And let's go to the next part, the extrinsic calibration. Let's go to the top. Same thing, you have to select the cameras for the extrinsic calibration. In my case, I'm gonna use this. These videos are already synced. You must sync them before use on this add-on. I'm gonna use this video. This is the first video and the second one. You don't have to save the video here, but we will see the video on this screen to select which frame we use to make the extrinsic calibration. Let's load the first video. It's here, and you can see that on this first frame, you already can see the chessboard. So that's what's necessary from this video for this part of the extrinsic calibration. So you don't have to select anything. You just need to press render frame, and it's gonna render the first frame of the video. Same thing for the second video. You can also see here, so press render frames and then detect chessboard. It finished the detection, but it usually doesn't detect correctly, so it's very important to manually do the detection, do selection of the chessboard features manually, and you do that with the run label me. Go to the first frame and press run label me. It's gonna open a new window where you can select the intersections manually, and here it is. You can use Ctrl and scroll to zoom in to be easier to select. Another important thing is you must start at the same place in all the images that you are going to do the selection. For example, in this case, I'm gonna start on this part of the chessboard in all the images and go until the end. So let's create polygons and click on the intersections. After that, you can press enter and select any name and press OK. Save. It's gonna close, and now the second camera. The same thing, I'm gonna zoom in. You remember that we started on this side. That's the place that I'm gonna start again. Press enter, put any name and save. Now you can click calibration and check. You're gonna see how it's the detection. You can see that has a nice cube. It means it's a good extrinsic calibration for the first camera. It's a good calibration for the second camera too. can press enter again and it's going out. Now we have also the extrinsic calibration inside the folder. Let's move to the last part. On this last part, you will have to choose the videos that you're going to use to create the animation. So you press set and go to those videos. In this case, I'm gonna use the same video that I used for the extrinsic calibration. In this part, you have to save the video. So press save video, and now it's a part that you have to use the open pose. Here on the releases, you can get if you have NVIDIA GPU, you can get this GPU version. It's the fastest. Open it, unzip it, and you have it ready here. I think you have to download some models. You must press the get models. What I like to do is open the CMD here. So I go to the folder, write CMD, and it's gonna open right here. We see that we have this get base models. So I write get base models dot batch and wait for it to download them. Okay, so let's go back to the add-on. Now we have to select that path from the open pose that we just exported and got the models. Press set path. Mine is on the download. I have it here, open pose, and when you see those folders, that's the place that you have to select. And this option is when you want to see how was the pose detection on your image, but using this option, this render open pose path, it takes much longer than to just do the pose estimation. But now, for now, we just need the pose estimation. We don't have to analyze the pose. So press extract run and watch how it goes here. You see that the pose estimation is done. If you for any reason have to process it again, you can select these options to clear the annotation, the open pose, or everything. It's this last option, and press clear selection. We don't need to do that. You usually need to do that if you change the extrinsic calibration or other part of the calibration to get a better result. Let's move to the last part. And this is the part that I was talking about. You need to download the files to do the triangulation and import the animation. After registering on that site, you have to put your login information here. Let me put mine to show what happens. And press download and wait for it to do the job. And it's done. You see that you can now press the triangulate buttons. You can use these options to select different cameras. In this case we just have, so we can't make much, and you can also press the start end frame if you don't want to process everything that you have available here. But now let's just do the triangulation. With the triangulation done, we can import the animation. This part over here was added in case you press the import animation and it doesn't work. Sometimes I have problems where I have more than one pose estimation of characters in the same video. Sometimes I had to change the number to 1 or something like that to make it work. So if you using 0 doesn't work, try and use 1 to see how it goes. But let's move to 0 and import animation. And you have the animation, so you can press the play button and see the result. And basically that's it. I would like just to add one more thing In case you want to use on another Blender version inside your computer, you already have the virtual environment. Let's see how it goes, for example, on the version 3.4. Let's install the add-on and let's open the end panel. Here you have it. You already have the VM, so you have to point. You don't have to install this again. Probably you have to install this Easymocap package, but let's try to see what happens. What I'm gonna do, I already have the information done on the 3.5. I'm gonna copy that information to here. Let's try it. I'm gonna go to the project, enable, and open the calibration folder. So I can copy this folder and let me go to the 3.4, open, and paste here. Here I'm gonna have the calibration data. And I could put my information here again to download the data necessary, or I can manually copy from the 3.5 version. I just have to go to CEB Easymocap Blender, Easymocap Master, Data, and I just need to copy the file and the folder. Let's go to the 3.4, go to the Easymocap Master, Data, and I just have to paste here. It's gonna complain, I can replace. It's the same files. And now we can try to use it here. You can select the project path that we used. Project is mocap 1. It's this folder. So here you have everything is already done from the 3.5. Let's go to the last part, the finalize. And you already have the pose estimation. Let's do the triangulation, for example. One more thing. Let me open the console panel. Let me close the 3.5. We are not going to use it. Window, toggle console. Let's see what happens. Triangulate, and you have an error. Why? Interesting. The problem is that I didn't select the folder, the correct folder here. I copy, but I didn't select. So let's try again on the triangulate. And now it works. So if you have Easymocap installed on one version, if you need to move to another version, you can do just that, copy the files. If you have problems, you can press the install Easymocap package and everything should work. Thanks for watching. If you can support, please support us on Patreon. That helps a lot, and see you next time.